One of the biggest decisions to face in life is trying to choose between two things that you don't want to lose, because it always seems like you just have to let one go. Facing a long-distance relationship and keeping up with a passion and career are the two situations that Cody is faced with. It'll be interesting to see how he tackles it. Does he let go of one that seemed less important, or is he able to balance the two? In the opening scene of Emerson Heights, we see a little blonde girl, Em, with her grandma and her dog Polly. Em, just like every other kid her age, is very excited to go visit her mom at the hospital, but her grandma wants them to wait a bit more before going. Em is disappointed at her grandma's reply, but is still very anxious and enthusiastic to go. Her grandma gives her a quote, that all great things come with patience. Even though Em wants to go immediately, she reluctantly goes off to play with Polly. Em runs off to play with her dog. She dresses her dog as a princess and goes in search of a tiara to finish up look. Not finding the tiara, she turns back to see that Polly has wandered off. She finds Polly in the wardrobe, which leads her to a box of letters. Em opens one of the letters and starts to read. In the next scene, we see the letter come to life. Cody is once again late as usual. His mom, Lana, earlier told him to carry his clothes to the cleaners, but being the typical Cody that loves crash programs, he prefers to take it late. His mom teases that he'll probably go to his audition in his underwear if the dry cleaners have closed by the time he gets there. Bryce, Cody's little sister, finds what her mom says amusing, but later thinks it gross to see her brother in his underwear. However, Cody doesn't feel bad about her comment, because he thinks he's sexy, and that many girls would like to see him in his underwear. Seeing that his mom is actually worried and unhappy about his usual lateness, Cody assures her that he'll always do what he ought to do, even if it's at the last minute. Cody arrives at the dry cleaners, and Wanda is already locking up to go. He begs her to take his clothes before she closes. Cody's lateness is actually a problem, because even Wanda talks about it. Cody goes ahead to strike a deal with Wanda to split whatever he has in his pockets with her, because it doesn't seem like she's willing to open up again for Cody. Wanda agrees to his deal and opens the place again. After Wanda collects the clothes, Cody empties his pocket, as agreed earlier. Wanda decides to take the receipt that bears Cody's signature, probably because Cody tells her that it could be worth a lot of money when he one day becomes a famous and rich actor. With that, she promises him that he'll get his clothes the next day. Cody leaves the dry cleaning place and goes to a convenience store. As he scans the chocolate section, he notices a blonde girl that walks in. He tries to stare and at the same time tries to avoid eye contact. The girl feels the awkwardness and calls his attention. Cody replies nervously that the girl looks familiar. They come out in between the shelves to have a better view of each other, after the girl claims she can't see him through the aisle. She introduces herself as Briley. Cody just stands there staring, without uttering a word. It's obvious he is already falling in love. Briley has to call his attention back to the present before he finds his words, and they exchange pleasantries. Cody wants to get to know Briley and hang out with her, so he invites her to a pool party that he'll be having with his friends. Back at Cody's house, he tells his mom and his sister Bryce about Briley, claiming to have met his future wife. It turns out that he lied about having a pool party just to get Briley closer. Before his mom goes out, she reminds Cody of all the things to carry, what to do, and what not to do, because she knows how her son can be. Cody now has to go through the stress of inviting all his friends, but all of them have engagements to attend, especially as it's coming as an impromptu party. Cody is alone at the pool, except for an old couple in the water. While he sits quietly, Briley shows up. Briley guesses that there wasn't any party, and she's right. He confesses to her that he just wanted to impress her, but although he tried to invite some friends so that it'll look like an actual party, his friends were not willing to attend at such short notice. She commends him for at least his effort at impressing her. They're about to get into the pool, but the elderly couple kissing in the pool seems a little awkward for them, and Briley suggests they take a walk instead. During their walk, they get to know each other. Cody is an actor. He and his family moved to Los Angeles 4 years earlier. Although they didn't intend to stay long, his acting career made them stay there. When Briley learns from Cody that he played the role of young Mr. Metzel in a very popular commercial franchise, she freaks out in excitement and commends him. To show Cody that she knows what he's talking about, she recites some of his lines from the movie. Cody also wants to know about Briley, and it turns out that she's also an actress. Briley narrates that she was supposed to be doing a musical show earlier that week. In the end though, the movie crew laid her off and hired the lead character's twin, after she had traveled from New York to play the role. Briley also sings, so to do her both passions at once, she does musical shows, and that is why laying her off from the musical show actually made her sad. As they continue chatting on their way, Briley sees a wire fence and climbs over to the other side. She tells Cody to climb too. She spreads her scarf on the sand for them to sit on. From their discussion, Cody gets to know that Briley will be leaving for New York the next day. Cody will miss her, but she doesn't think she'll be back to Los Angeles anytime soon, because her parents aren't in full support of her acting, and this last disappointment has just made them more uninterested in her acting career. Briley doesn't think someone should have just one passion, so she asks Cody if he has any other passions besides acting. Cody also likes to write, He thinks of showing her his written works, which he hasn't shown anybody, not even his mom or sister. But unlike most boys that want to make a particular girl feel special, he decides against it because it'll be embarrassing. Cody earlier told Briley that he would love to hear her sing, so she decides to strike a deal with him, that he'll be writing to her while she is in New York, and she'll sing for him when they meet again. Cody agrees, but still wants her to sing for him on the spot. Briley obliges and starts to sing beautifully. In the middle of her singing, a security woman comes, and they run away giggling. On getting home, Cody meets his mom in the kitchen. After telling her briefly about his day, she discovers that he came back without the towel that he took to the pool. What a date. Next scene, Briley is packing her box to leave for New York. When she's done, she goes out and sees a letter addressed to her on the door of her room. Back at her grandma's house, Em is still reading the letters, when her grandma interrupts her reading and tells her to take Polly out for a walk. Em seems to be very much more interested in what she is reading, but Grandma insists she does it at once. Em stands up reluctantly and takes Polly out, but still carries the letter outside to continue her reading. Instead of taking Polly for a walk, she just takes him outside and sits on a swing to continue the letter. Briley comes to Los Angeles again, and Cody is at the airport waiting to pick her up. When they see each other, they envelop themselves in a warm embrace. Briley wants to know where Cody is taking her, but he prefers to leave it as a surprise. She sees Cody's new car and admits that Cody has a lot to tell her about. The current reality is that Cody has become quite popular, to the point of his face being on billboards even in New York, because of the movie he acted in. They finally arrive, and the surprise Cody had for Briley is taking her to the beach, and she's very excited. He never forgot that she mentioned she loves the beach. So thoughtful of him. They play games, eat and play around the beach. Things get romantic and quite intense between them. And Briley keeps talking of how she loves the moment. With Briley's head on his shoulder, they stare at each other for a while until they kiss. As if they've been waiting for the moment, they giggle excitedly. Cody seems not to have forgotten about the deal they struck the last time they were together. He brings out his phone and plays a tune for her to sing to. Since he fulfilled his part of the deal by writing to her while she was away, she sings to him. Cody takes Briley to his house, as that's where she'll be staying for the week. Bryce is very excited to meet the girl her brother has always been talking about, and runs to embrace Briley. Bryce, like every child her age, runs her mouth to Briley about how Cody has been saying he'll get married to her. Cody is shocked and tries to lie in defense, but he's short of words. Bryce still doesn't shut up, and just runs inside after embarrassing Cody. Cody's mom finally stands up, after giving them enough time, and welcomes Briley. His mom, too, talks more than she's meant to, and to avoid more talks that may make him embarrassed, he cuts in and takes Briley to the room she'll be sleeping in. Briley, on discovering that it's Cody's room she'll be sleeping in, feels like she's going to inconvenience him, but Cody assures her that he'll be fine on the couch. Cody runs Briley through where everything she may need is kept. Probably because he's nervous and too excited that he's having the girl he likes in his house. He says goodnight twice to her before he leaves the room. In the middle of the night, Briley comes to meet Cody in the living room, where he's sleeping on the couch. He allows her to lay on the couch with him when she claims she can't sleep in the room. While she's in his arms, he whispers to her that he likes her, and shares the same feelings. It's morning, and Briley wakes up to see Cody coming in with breakfast for them. Although Briley is still feeling sleepy and wants to go back to sleep, he reminds her of the big day ahead of them. Cody and his family, together with Briley, go out for tourism. As they walk on the streets of Los Angeles, some girls recognize Cody from the movie, and they don't fail to squeal, like other girls when they see their celebrity crush. When the girls pass by, Briley holds Cody, as if to say the girls would snatch her boyfriend with their stares and admiration. They start their tour, and take pictures too. Briley even helps to take pictures of Cody and his fans. She is actually happy about the popularity Cody is gaining, but also warns him not to allow it to get into his head. Finally, it's the end of the week, and Briley has to go back home to New York. While she's getting ready for her flight, Cody enters the room. Briley doesn't respond much to his talks, and thinks she's sad because she's leaving. She doesn't think their long-distance relationship will work out, because she doesn't want to be a girlfriend that'll hold her man down from attaining the height he has started to reach in his career. Cody thinks they are old enough to figure it out, and doesn't want Briley wondering about how they'll keep up the relationship. He assures her that the relationship will work, because he'll always write to her, and also visit her in New York. He gives her a box to keep all the letters he'll be sending her. Briley loves the gift. He gives her a loving forehead kiss, and they hug tightly. You know, one can never go wrong with a reassuring forehead kiss. Now back at her grandma's house, Em thinks she has stayed outside long enough for her grandma to think she actually walked Polly, so she goes back inside with the dog. She bumps into her grandma on her way into the house, and Grandma wonders where she's rushing to. Em tells Grandma that she is reading a story and wants to quickly get back to it. She doesn't also fail to remind her grandma to call her when it's time to go out. Em goes back to the box and brings out the next letter. Cody has become a prominent actor, but he still doesn't fail to write to his girlfriend and give her every detail of what is going on in her absence. Briley booked a show, and Cody promises to attend, as it's her first Broadway show ever. On the show's day, she paces around the dressing room and constantly checks her phone, like she's expecting an important call to come in, maybe a call from her man. Briley goes to the stage and performs wonderfully well. While in the dressing room after the performance, Cody comes into the dressing room with Vic, his manager, but Briley doesn't give them a warm welcome, not even a word. Cody tells Vic to give him and Briley privacy. She is really angry at Cody for not attending her show, and she demands to know where he was. As Cody is explaining that his reason for not making it to the show is because of a talk show he had to attend, Vic interrupts them to tell Cody of another talk show that needs him next week. Cody gives Vic the go-ahead to book the appointment. Briley feels insulted when Cody gives her a rose as a makeup present, and even wishes her a happy birthday, when her birthday is actually the next day. His busy schedule seems to be affecting their relationship. Cody tells her that he has a surprise for her, and she calms down, hoping the surprise would actually make up for what he's done. Next scene, Cody walks Briley into a room with her eyes closed. There's a candle-lit dinner table in one corner of the room. Briley is happy about what she sees, and is even more thrilled at her boyfriend's attempt to make up for his misbehavior when she sees the necklace he gets for her. Briley is really surprised and happy at his efforts. Cody goes on to pour wine into cups for them, but Briley reminds him that she's not yet 21, so she can't drink. Cody convinces her that they can make an exception for that night, and they go on to celebrate their successes. After the dinner, she catches him up on all that he has missed out on. He takes her into his arms, and they start to kiss passionately and end up going all the way, which is Briley's first time, as she was a virgin till that night. Briley wakes up the next morning, and it's her birthday. She notices a letter on the side stool and picks it up. It turns out that Cody has gone back to Los Angeles without saying goodbye, and this greatly hurts her. Em drops the letter and runs out of the room. Grandma sees her running and persuades her to help her make cookies. As they are in the kitchen, Em tells Grandma about the love story she's reading. Em, as a kid, thinks all love stories must have a happy ending. But her grandma sadly tells her it isn't always the case. They finally finish making the cookies, and Em immediately goes back to her story. Briley calls Cody, because they haven't even spoken for a couple of weeks. But he doesn't pick up the call, so she just drops a voicemail. Meanwhile, Cody is on set as the lead actor in a movie. It reaches a point for him to kiss the girl he is acting with, but he can't do it, so they cut and go on a break. Cody calls Briley, but she also doesn't respond, because she's on stage performing. Cody is called back on set, so he doesn't pick up when Briley calls him back. This has become a back and forth thing, sowing a seed of discord between the two lovers. Cody finishes for the day and receives commendations from his crew. Vic walks up to him, and they talk about some press stuff they have to do. He thinks that Cody being flirty while in front of the press will be captivating, and he advises him to do that. As Vic leaves, Haley, Cody's co-actor, meets him and confesses that she almost fell for him while they were acting a romantic part together. Cody apologizes to Haley for freaking out when he was supposed to kiss her, and that it happened because he needed to talk to his girlfriend. Haley seems jealous and just replies in quite an awkward way. Briley has been feeling sick, and she calls the theater manager to explain her situation and that she'll be absent. Back in Los Angeles, Cody just finished being on set and wants to freshen up. But Haley barges into the room and gives him a little commendation for his acting earlier. It's obvious Haley likes Cody and wants to be closer to him, so she invites him to a party, which he reluctantly agrees to after she pressures him a bit. Briley goes to see the doctor so that she'll be able to get back on stage as soon as possible. After several questions and examinations, the doctor thinks that Briley may likely be pregnant. This is quite a revelation, especially with all that has been happening between her and her boyfriend. Cody sits alone at the party that he was invited to when Haley walks up to him, and after much persuasion and talks for him to loosen up, she's finally able to drag him to the dance floor. While they're dancing, Briley's call comes in, and Cody leaves the dance floor to answer the call. She wants to tell Cody that she's pregnant, but she doesn't get the chance, because he just seems distracted from the call, and doesn't even give her much attention. Cody isn't sensitive enough to notice that his girlfriend may be having some issues, but instead, he uses this call as an opportunity to tell her that he needs to find a way to balance his career and relationship. Therefore, he'll need a break from the relationship. He hangs up immediately and is done talking, like he was recording a voicemail, and sadly, Briley does not even get the chance to talk to her man about the baby they'll be having. This is utterly devastating, and Briley needs someone to talk to about her situation before she goes crazy, so she invites Gracie. After talking for a while, Gracie asks politely about the father of the child, and screams excitedly when she learns from Briley that the father of her child is Cody McLean. Gracie is very supportive and advises Briley to go and see Cody in person, and she buys into the idea. Bryce and Lana come to visit Cody. As they talk together, Haley comes to them, and Cody introduces her to his family. Haley wants to please Cody's family, but in a bid to do that, she receives harsh replies from Bryce. Haley is pained, but she tries to hide it. Cody takes his family out for dinner, but the dinner doesn't go well, as Bryce becomes angry and expresses her anger for Cody not being better to Briley. She thinks that Cody should still set priorities right, even as he's becoming famous. Lana is not happy with her daughter's behavior, but she still thinks she said the truth. Well, his family knows that he can do better. Briley gets to Los Angeles and goes straight to where Cody's movie shoot is taking place. She walks in on Haley publicly admitting in an interview with the press that she and Cody are in a relationship, while a confused Cody just stands there with nothing to say. Before Briley enters the main building, Vic walks up to her. He doesn't let her see Cody because he's busy, but he collects the letter from Briley and promises to give it to Cody when he's less busy. Briley leaves without Cody seeing her, or even knowing that she was in the city. The story Em is reading is already getting attached to her emotions, because she doesn't think the story will end well. She lets her grandma know this, and she offers to read with her, so that she won't feel the sadness too much. Meanwhile, Cody is angry at the way Haley publicly lied about them being in a relationship, and refuses to play along. Vic agrees with Haley and tells Cody that it's just a strategy to make them more relevant, since they're giving the public what they want. After persuasion from both parties, Cody agrees to play the role of fake boyfriend to Haley. When Briley gets home, she sees that the lie that Haley told has gone viral on TV. This hurts her deeply. Cody is also watching TV, but still doesn't seem comfortable with it. They have both gone back to their normal lives. Thankfully, Briley seems to be coping even after the heartbreak. Briley goes to see Dr. King again for her checkup. He tells her about all the options she has to weigh and choose what will happen to her baby. Briley is back at the theater, and Lynn, the manager, comes in to have a word with her. Apparently, Briley's doctor called the theater company to tell them of Briley's health, and they want to let her go so that she'll not experience pregnancy complications due to the stress at the theater. In the end, Lynn promises to find a way to help Briley, after she has made Lynn believe that she can still do the work. Meanwhile, Cody is in his house alone, and is having a conversation about Briley with his mom on the phone. Cody acknowledges his mistake, and is scared that Briley may hate him by now, because he hasn't been the best boyfriend for a long while. His mom advises him to do the right thing, because Briley has every reason to hate him by now. At this point, Em is already crying, because the story she has been reading is turning out to be a sad one. Em wants Grandma to tell her how the story ends, since Grandma said she had already seen the story, but Grandma refuses and tells her to read it herself. It's finally time to go out, and Em is excited. At least she will get a break from this torture of a story. At a cocktail party, Cody doesn't seem interested in the credits some boys are giving him about his movie, but rather, he goes into Vic's office to clear his head. While he's there alone, Haley walks in. She wants her and Cody to actually be a real couple, and not just a fake one for the support of their fans. Haley starts to talk to Cody sexily, and she makes some advances on him, which cause them to kiss. While they're kissing, Cody comes back to consciousness and immediately snaps out. In the process, he mistakenly knocks off a container on Vic's table and notices a paper with his name on it. Cody picks up the paper, and after seeing the content, he's full of rage and goes out to confront Vic, who gives a very silly excuse for not delivering the letter. Cody immediately leaves the cocktail, goes straight to the airport, and boards a plane to New York. When he gets to New York, he goes to Briley's theater company to look for her, but Gracie tells him she's at the hospital. He gets to the hospital, and as the nurse is still trying to go through protocols, he barges into the ward, where she is sitting with the doctor. At this point in the movie, we discover many things. The whole story of Briley and Cody is the past, and the mom that Em is going to visit in the hospital is Briley, who is having her second child for Cody. After Cody barges into the room, he starts a round of apology to Briley for putting her through so much. Briley doesn't find it hard to forgive Cody, maybe because she knows that if she doesn't, she'll be forced to bear the burden alone, or probably because she loves him a lot. Meanwhile, in the current day, Cody rushes into the room while his wife, Briley, is in the process of delivery. Even though he's late as usual, at least he came before the baby was born. After several pushes, the baby comes out, and it's a boy. Em and Lana eventually arrive at the hospital, and Em is happy to see her baby brother. Bryce comes in later and apologizes for being late. Em starts to sing for her baby brother, and it makes her parents remember their teenage years, as that was the song Briley sang to Cody, the first time she ever sang to him. Em shows her parents the story she has been reading, and is interested in reading together with them. The family is back at home, and the first thing Em does is to carry the particular letter she was reading back to where she left the letterbox. Apparently, the letters are the ones that her dad wrote to her mom while they were still dating, and that's what forms the story she's been reading. Cody follows her and carries her back to the living room, where they eat the cookies earlier made by Lana and Em, and play cards together like the one big happy family that they are.